Okay, good morning. So this is going to be a little, basically morning routine that you can do, like with all of these things, as much or as little as you like, or as much as you, or as little as you've got time for. We're just going to start by feeling the body, and then maybe do a little bit of core stuff, and a little bit of mobility work, and then a little bit of stretching through. Okay, so a bit of a mixture of everything. We're going to start lying on the back of the body. It's mostly going to be on the floor. I don't think we're going to need any props today. You could be on a yoga mat, or you could just be on a blanket on the floor. You can do this to start with if you want to. I'm just seeing which angle works better for the camera. Okay. So just settle there. Imagine if you've just got out of bed. You've rolled out onto the floor, and please excuse the sound of the chainsaw going on, cutting down trees, branches anyway. Okay, so we welcome all experience. We are just being here in this moment, present moment awareness. That's what that means, present moment, this moment here right now, being aware of the present moment. And your thoughts are going to happen anyway, so we just let them get on with it. They just keep going, doing their thing. And the thing we don't need to do is engage with every single one of them and create a story around every single one of them. So it's particularly good to do this first thing in the morning, before you've switched on the radio, before you've switched on the TV, before you've switched on any of your devices, checked your messages, checked your social media. Come into your body first. Okay, notice how it feels just lying here on the floor. Notice the physical sensations in your body, what your energy is like, what your breath is like. Let out some sighing breaths if that's helpful for you. For those of you who've practiced with me for a while, you know I'm a big fan of sighing and yawning, and all of these things help to stimulate our vagus nerve, trigger our vagus nerve, and this stimulate vagal tone, as well as cold showers, as well as humming, as well as that's an example of humming. As well as the out breath that triggers our parasympathetic nervous system. When we focus on the out breath, it helps calm us down. Notice how the floor feels beneath you, the earth, your connection to the earth. Gravity keeping you there. It's fortunate, isn't it? Okay, and then just gently press your feet down into the floor without lifting them away from the floor, just pressing and releasing through the feet. So you start to have a gentle rock through your pelvis, and then do one at a time. Probably feel sensation in your knees and in the thighs. If you bring your hands onto your fingers onto your thighs, you'll feel your quads starting to engage as you do that. Okay, and then pressing down through the sole of each foot alternately, so that your pelvis starts to lift. So as you press down through the sole of the foot, this hip lifts, the bum might lift away from the floor, it doesn't need to. And then you press down through the other one, and that hip lifts, and then it lowers, and we're walking the pelvis. Sensing into feeling around the hips, front of your hips, the lower back, sacrum area. And notice the impact of this on your further up your body, on your rib cage, on your chest, on your shoulders, on your head. and then letting that come to a stillness again. And we'll pick up the feet, bring the feet in, wiggle your toes. You can raise your feet up to the ceiling if you like. You can do this whole practice with your eyes closed as well, by the way. Maybe not the whole practice, but a lot of it. Hopefully if my direction is helpful enough. So we raise the feet up and just wiggle through the feet and the toes. You might look at your feet and your toes if you feel to have your eyes open. Point and flex the feet. And this gets quite tiring quite quickly. And then opening up the backs of the legs. Feeling through your knees. Might hear some clicks and pops and things. We're just going to do this until the thighs get a little bit tired. This is a bit like cycling, isn't it? Cycling is more like this, but it's a similar motion through the knees here. So we're just going to pretend we're cycling. We're kind of running on the spot. We're just going to run on the spot a little bit longer. Okay, and then let that rest, let your feet be floppy. You might feel some kind of like fizzing sensations, that sort of lactic acid going up through your thighs. How lovely. And then we're going to rock from side to side on the pelvis. Let your weight come from one side to the other. Let your knees drop really wide if they go that way, and they become the sort of the weight of the legs helps the momentum of this swing from side to side. But if your knees don't go that way, don't worry, just move in whatever way is available to you. Okay, and then we're going to bring both knees over to one side, coming into a really lovely, just gentle twist. Okay, and then lifting the knees up all the way to the other side, and you can just let your arms rest open, so you sort of open the front of the chest a little, look wherever's comfortable in your neck. And then bring both knees up and over again. And then this time we're gonna, the bottom knee is gonna stay bent, and I'm gonna straighten the top leg away and the top arm away from myself, from each other. And I'm using my bottom shoulder and my bottom knee to kind of just keep me steady. Reaching away, creating a lot of space down this side of the body. And then we're going to come in, curl onto the back of the body again, curl over and lengthen through top limbs away from each other. Make sure your head is resting down here, so you're not lifting your head up when you do this. And then you can do that as many more times on each side as you wish. Remember, you can always pause the video. If you're really enjoying this side stretch, go for it. Do it more and more on each side, and come back to the rest of the sequence later on. Okay, so we've got the side stretch. We're going to do the diagonal again, and this time, this is an option. Maybe you'll lengthen the top leg away. Hopefully you can see that. Just bring, there we go. So you can see I'm lengthening the top leg away. You'll stretch into the side of the hip. Maybe we'll lengthen the bottom leg away. And then all the way onto the other side. Again, top leg lengthening. And then top arm lengthening. So you've got arm and leg lengthening away from each other. Big diagonal sort of stretch across the body. And we'll do as many more of those. I'm going to do one more on each side. You can do as many more of those on each side as you like. That's just my body's natural vocal response, sound response to the sensation I'm feeling. Yours may or may not sound the same. But if it does, if you've noticed you've been holding and sort of stopping yourself from sighing and making noise, notice how it feels to make noise. Why are we so scared of making noise, of creating sound? Maybe we're scared of taking up space. All right, let's come to the back of the body again. So we've done side stretch, side body lengthening, diagonal lengthening, done a little diagonal twist. And then we're going to close both sides down onto the side of the body. And then lift arm, top arm and leg at the same time, keep your head down. And then roll into the back of the body like a dead bug. And then roll, closing down, like you're closing the pages of a book. And then lift up, top arm and leg on that side. Roll onto the back of the body, dead bug. All the way over to the other side, closing down. Let's do that a few times. Keep the head on the floor. Maybe breathe in as you open up. Breathe out as you close down. That feels really, really natural in my body. Maybe you feel better to breathe out when you open up. See what feels better for you. Maybe your breath is just happening and you're not really thinking about it. That's okay too. As long as we're breathing, as long as we're not holding onto the breath. Don't need to hold onto the breath. Okay, the next one we're going to do is open up the arms. This is super nice. Then the top leg opens and we go back to that really wide kind of baby, a happy baby, and then the top knee closes and then the top arm comes over. And the hands come together and then drag your top arm across the front of your body, open up, and then top knee, rolling over, closing on the other side, top arm. It's like you're dragging, lifting it over, arms closed, and then opening up front of body, lift the knee. And again, a few more times, or as many times as you like. And you might find, especially if you're in a blanket, like on a wooden floor or a tiled floor, you might find that you're sort of rolling, moving around. Even on the yoga mat, my body's moving around, and that's okay. We don't need to stay in the parameters of the yoga mat, for goodness sakes. Although, I mean, I'm crashing into pot plants now, okay? We're going to roll over onto the side of the body, and then from here, come back into the view. So from here we're going to lengthen this arm away, press through the hand to lift up, and now I'm in this kind of like mermaid. This is called mermaid. Like a siren on the rocks. Okay, and then from here you might press, bring same side hand on the floor, press down, lift up onto your knees. I'm going to turn my back to the camera, bring the other foot down, other hand down, then lift up the back foot, turn your other back foot. This is not, you'd need to open your eyes now, if you haven't already. And then you come up to stand, and we're going to practice going up and down. Can't see my head, that's okay. Back knee comes down. We're back to the mermaids. Okay, so both my knees are pointing towards the left. I bring my left hand down. Right hand comes down. Lift up onto the knees. Right leg. moves about a quarter turn, as does the left on my knee. Tuck my left toes under, bring the right knee in towards the right elbow and step the right foot on the floor. And now I'm in a position where I can maybe think about coming up to stand. So that might be a helpful way for you to come up to stand. And then practice going back down again. One more time. Left hand, right hand, lift onto left knee. Bring right knee in towards right hand. Bring right foot on the floor. I'm in this as if I'm going to propose, kneeling position, and then maybe step up from there. And then coming down again. Coming out the way you went in, then lift your knees over to the other side. This time knees are going towards my right, then my left hand comes down. My left knee comes in. I lift up to stand. And then lower. This isn't really, it doesn't really matter, this isn't a thing to get right or wrong, it's just basically it's a practice of getting from the floor to standing up, that's all it is. So maybe try that a few times, if you're enjoying that. If you're not enjoying that, don't worry about it. We do a little bit of just working in the hips, hip mobility. So feet about a little bit wider than mat distance. I'm going to keep facing you, my hands are behind supporting me, my feet are a little bit flexed. Right knee in, right knee out. Right knee in, right knee out. Little bit of hip mobility for first thing in the morning. Very nice. And then other one. Left knee in, left knee out. Left knee in, left knee out. Left knee in, left knee out. In, left knee out. Do, 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 do. Both knees in, both knees out. Both knees in, both knees out. Okay. And then whatever. Bring your feet a bit in closer, bring your hands together, elbows on the inside of your thighs. We're going to create some resistance. 3 times, knee towards elbow, elbow towards knee, pushing. 3 times, press, release, press, release, press, release. Notice if your knees have kind of gone out a little bit, and then walk your feet up. Now they're in line with your knees again. We're going to do the same thing. Press, release, press, release. Press, release, press, release, press, release. Again, a little bit more space. Feet walk out a little bit. 3 times. Press, release. Now it's getting strong. Press, release, press. A press, release. And then maybe there's room for one more, maybe not. If there's room for one more, do it with me. Press, release, press, release, press, release. Now I'm really feeling that in my outer hips. Gorgeous. Okay, let your legs release now. And I don't know, for me, a little shaking in the legs feels good after that. Good. Great, let's come back into our mermaid. Now we're going to open up the legs a little bit. So we've got a wide angle in both knees is at a right angle. Now you can investigate as to why this is in your own body. So what we're going to do is lift the back hip and lower. Lift the back hip and lower. So you start to feel like maybe there's a kind of, feels a little bit like cramping sensation in this buttock, or it's like an internal massage. We're getting sort of like, again, we're sort of palpating into that area. If I try to do this with my knees closed, I don't really feel too much. If my knees are too open, again, nada. So, for me, knees at a right angle works. And if this back hip is already very lifted, try and sit on something, a thick blanket or a couple of books to lift your pelvis up so that your pelvis is level and you don't feel like you're going to topple over. Okay, but this mobility exercise into this hip is there to try and create more mobility and space if you are very restricted here. Okay, this is really good. I mean, it's good for all of us. If you're a runner, a cyclist, if you do lots of forward flexion in your legs and hips, and quite frankly, who doesn't? We are bipedal mammals and we walk, so you know that. But also all of the sitting we're doing, especially on chairs. We've made life very convenient for ourselves, very comfortable. It feels very comfortable at the time, and then over time it feels less comfortable because we are not moving our bodies in the way that they're designed to be moved. We've restricted our movement so much. So we're looking for this, some sort of like interesting sensation around here. Now, if this is confusing and you haven't done this before or whatever, please write me and we'll figure it out, because it is good to do it together if you're confused or if it's not working for you. For me, I feel like, and also I squeeze my butt cheek when I get there, and that creates more sensation. It's not quite stretch sensation, it's a different feeling. Feels good. Okay, and then maybe you come off the back hand, the supporting hand, and you're twisting here. And then maybe flex in the front foot, keep this whole leg real strong. We're going to go down to the floor, and keeping this strong, can you come up with no hands? With no hands. If you can't, then don't go as far down. But you'll notice when you do this, that this area will switch on, especially when you come back up. Okay, and then, last little exploration on this side, extending this leg now. If this leg doesn't comfortably extend, don't worry about this part, just skip it. Again, we're moving through the hip and the torso. And then maybe coming forward, feeling the back of the leg a little bit if you enjoy that. Hamstring stretch, calf stretch. Okay, I lied. This is the last little exploration on this side. We're going to see how it feels to try and lift the back knee. Okay, can feel that. Lift the back foot. Okay, can really feel that in there now. Lift the back knee, lift the back foot, lift the back knee, lift the back foot. Take it slowly. I'm doing it quite fast because, I'm trying to make the video shorter, but you can spend as much time as you need here. And then the front knee, what happens here? Okay, front knee lifting, no problem. What happens if I try and lift the front foot? Just the front foot. Oh God. Then that's difficult. My knee, the whole lower leg lifts. Just see what happens. Again, no right or wrong. We're going to come back. This time, maybe come back without the use of your hands, back onto your sit bones, and then knees come all the way to the other side. Flex your ankles. Hip lifting, lowering, lifting, lowering. Use your hand for support if you need it. So do that as many more times as is helpful for you. And then lift hand away. Where does the torso go? Where does your pelvis go? forward, lower your torso down. Flex the front ankle, strong in the front leg now, lift up. Maybe with or without hands, try without hands. If you find it really difficult, don't go as low. Remember, just come a little way and then practice, okay, what needs to happen in this leg for me to come up without hurting myself. Any pain in the knee, guys, remember, we don't do it. And then maybe it feels okay to go down, all the way, lifting up, all the way. All right, one more. Cool, front leg out now, if you want to, if it goes. And then again, lifting and lowering the back hip. And then maybe coming forward, active in the foot, so toes are pointing up. Little lift in the kneecaps, so the quads engaged. Okay, then we'll come up and then bend the front knee again, right angle, and then lifting back knee, lifting back leg, foot rather, knee, foot, knee, foot, knee, ooh, foot. Now I can really feel that in there. It's like cramping up, but it's okay, I keep moving and it dissipates again. If it doesn't dissipate, of course, have a break, straighten your leg out, lengthen it out. But maybe a little bit, if you're getting like little twinges of cramp and you're not used to it, and it feels like, oh, you know, the sort of like natural, or not the natural reaction, the conditioned response is to like get rid of it immediately. Like it's okay for us to cramp, it's just the muscle kind of doing what the muscle does. It causes us a pain, discomfort, because it's getting a little bit tight, you know, well, cramping in there. But now it's stopped, probably because I straightened my leg out. But just notice if you keep moving, does it kind of get rid of it for you? Oh yeah, lifting the back knee, back foot, knee, back foot, knee, foot. Okay, and then front knee, front foot, front knee, front foot. Maybe I can lift the front foot more easy if I'm on the hands. Yeah, okay. I can keep the knee on the floor and lifting the front foot. That's pretty cool. I love this stuff. Okay. Let's come back onto the hands again. Windshield right through the legs. Okay, let's come onto the knees again. Hand, hand, foot, knee. Tuck your toes, come up however to standing. Come into a wide-legged forward bend, because why not? Have a little stretch from side to side. Forward and back. Keep softness in your knees and your neck. Walk your feet together, heel toe, toe. Spin around so that you're long ways on your mat again. We're in a floppy forward bend. We're going to roll up. And then we're going to roll down. Soften your knees, roll up. Take as many roll up and roll downs as you've got time for. This is probably the best thing we can do for our spine, really. If you've got time in your day, you start to notice your you know, you're getting stiff, you're working at your computer, and you've been driving. If you can, just take a few minutes. All it is a few minutes just to release and move in a different way, so our body is not becoming habituated to certain movement patterns that might not be necessarily very good for us. Okay, and then coming down to the floor again. I don't care how you get there. You might bring your knees down, bring your feet to the side and come onto your bum. I'm going to come through downward facing dog just because I really enjoy downward facing dog. If downward facing dog you don't enjoy, don't do it. If you're doing downward facing dog with me, broaden through the palms of your hands. If you find that the weight of your body is coming very forward into your shoulders, into your arms, into your upper body, then it usually means that there's a bit of restriction in the lower back and hamstrings. So we bend the knees and then we send the bum back into space so that the torso now can come back as well. The weight now comes back into the back body again. So you're not putting loads of weight down through the front body. Heels high, knees bent, rah, rah, rah. Sorry for those of you that are already on the floor waiting for me to come out of down dog. Okay, I'm going to come forward into high plank. And I'm going to lower, maybe knees come down first, or you go halfway down to Chaturanga Dandasana and then up into up dog or a cobra, some sort of back bend. And then either coming back into downward facing dog or onto hands and knees. And then we all bring the knees down and make our way onto the back of the body. Whew. We're nearly done, I promise. So as I promised, we've done some mobility, we've done some stretching, we've done some somatic gentle movements. Now we're just going to do a teensy bit of core work before resting. Okay, so we started today's session by walking the pelvis, so let's just feel into the pelvis again. All right. Feet on the floor about hip distance apart. All right. You're going to press down through the feet until the pelvis starts to lift up. And you might be able to look down your body and see your hips. And we're going to try and keep the pelvis level throughout this next exercise. So this is kind of a core as in lower back, hips and glutes. It's not just the belly. Okay, but the belly is, you know, also engaging here. I'm going to lift, I'm going to take a breath in. And a breath out. My next breath in, I'm going to lift, press through the left foot and lift the right foot away from the floor. Breathe in, try and keep it lift. Exhale the foot away and then it comes down. Inhale, lift. Exhale. Other side. And right side. Inhale, lift. Right foot. Exhale, send away. Inhale, lift. Left foot. Exhale, send away. And keep going. Moving from side to side. Trying to keep your pelvis level, perhaps. Or at least lifted. The thing we want to avoid is this like sachet movement. Sachet, sachet from side to side. Okay? So this is super hardcore. I'm laughing because, what else is there to do? You might notice, if you give your glutes a prod, you can probably feel my right glute is weaker than my left. That's my right bum cheek. I can feel it's working much harder on that side. It's much harder to stabilize, keep that. It's almost shuddering. Let's do one more on each side. I don't know how many that was. I'm going to finish on the left side. Okay. And then slowly lower it back down. Give yourself a little wiggle. Maybe bring the knees into the chest. Stretching the legs. Maybe take a little twist. And another twist. Let's do a little spinal rock, up and down. And then we're going to come up onto the sit bones and come into Navasana, boat pose. So onto your bum. Try not to sit back onto your lower back. It's not very good for your tailbone to do that. Try and sit on your sit bones, lifting up. Lift up your chest. Okay, so maybe your toes rest on the floor. Hug your thighs in towards your chest. Maybe your feet come a little bit higher. Is it helpful to have the feet active in some description? So maybe pointing. If you're into Pilates, you probably learn to point. You might flex the toes, whichever. I think as long as the feet are active, it helps keep the legs active, which makes them less heavy. And then the job is to try and keep our thighs close to our chest. And breathe. And let's keep the head and shoulders and face relaxed and tongue relaxed. Maybe 3 more breaths. Just nice bit of fluff on my toe. Okay, we're going to come down slowly. If you want to try lengthening your legs as you go down, trying to bring your lower back to the floor first. This is super hard for me. Oh, God! Okay, bring your knees in, rock and roll through the spine again. Okay, and then lift your, okay, wherever you're doing your boat pose, toes, feet up, or maybe you lengthen your legs up. 5 breaths, breathing in, breathing out. Is there 2 more in there? Don't worry guys, I'm nearly there. Breathing in. Okay, we'll go down again. Let's go down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Take a big breath into your whole of your abdomen, breathe it out. Lordy me. Move your head from side to side in case you've got anything jammed up in the neck there. We don't want to do that. Okay, now you can do as many more boat poses as you like. I'm done for today. So, yeah, a last little wiggle. Whatever your body needs, feel free to continue moving your body, practicing in whatever way feels good for you. I'm just going to open up the front of the abdomen, not literally. That'd be frightening. Okay, feet on the floor. About hip distance apart, I'm going to breathe in, lift, come into the bridge pose. Again, we're not going to lift the feet away from the floor this time, I'm just going to breathe into the belly. And then maybe on your next exhalation, slowly lowering vertebra by vertebra down to the floor. And resting, resting, resting. Take any final movements that your body needs. And then invite your body to soften, soften as much as possible. Feel your heart beating in your chest, most likely. You feel your breath a bit more laboured. This is good. We're looking after ourselves. It doesn't need to be punitive to be enjoyable unless you are into that kind of thing. No, I'm joking. But yeah, maybe we could just enjoy being our bodies. Even if we're working our bodies hard, it could be enjoyable. Because we deserve this. We deserve to treat ourselves well. This is a short and precious life. Shorter than some, for some of us. So just maybe taking a moment to be grateful for this precious life. This incredible body that we live in, this body, mind. And for anything else that you feel grateful for, that you can be thankful for. And I'd really encourage you to rest for at least a minute or two longer. This is constructive rest. It's very important. Yes, there might be a gazillion other things that you think you have to do that are more important, but this, nothing beats this. Let your eyes rest in their sockets. Your tongue rest in your mouth, your jaw rest. All of the muscles and the tissues around your neck and your throat. Back of your throat, your palate, upper palate, lower palate. And the space between the throat and the back of the neck. Could you even soften there? Could we soften into the back body? We spend so much of our time at the front of the body. See how we're designed, but it's also how we design the world around us to be very much forward-facing. And we're doing it a lot more than ever in this last year with a lot more screen time. So can we consciously allow ourselves to rest back into the back body? Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. everywhere, wherever there is life without exception. May they be happy, peaceful, at ease and free. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you had fun. I hope you enjoyed being in your body, and please feel free to message me, comment, whatever, with some suggestions, with some feedback, with some questions, etc. Enjoy your day.